heard you say it. We're falling like stars, and I didn't notice the chaos inside my.
Well, it's the last day of the year, and it's actually the last day of the decade, and I'm walking downtown now to try to get something to eat, taking a little break from work. One of the nice things about working down here is being able to step outside the office for some fresh air and see what's going on. It takes a little bit of getting used to, I must admit. Walking around downtown holding a big camera to my face, getting a few weird looks, but I guess it is what it is. I'm actually walking down towards the landing to see if I can see what's been going on over there with the demolition that's been happening. We'll see what it looks like. So I'm almost at the landing. You can kind of see it behind me, what's left of it. Really strange to see this landmark just disappear like this. I'll take a closer look. You know, I was here in Jacksonville when the Jacksonville landing went up, and I remember all of the fanfare that it received, and this is just crazy to see this looking like this, to see the thing disappear in front of my eyes. Check it out. Changes happening in downtown Jacksonville. I wanted to take just a few minutes to talk about a perennial topic in real estate, a topic that never goes out of style. There's always time for talking about this, and everybody is interested about this subject, and that is pricing. Pricing in real estate. For a lot of people, it's kind of an esoteric topic. There's some mystery involved with it sometimes, but I'm often surprised about how regularly I encounter clients and just people in general who do not realize the significance that pricing plays in the effort to sell real estate. Marketing is very, very important. What people fail to realize is that properly pricing a property is the single most important component of any successful marketing program. You can have gorgeous photos, you can have beautiful drone shots, you can have open houses, you can have a property that's beautifully staged. Those things are important and they do help. I mean, don't get me wrong, but even in those cases, the single most important component of that marketing effort is going to be getting the price right. Another really important thing to remember with this whole topic, especially if you're a seller who's considering selling a property that you own. Sellers do not set prices in real estate. Buyers do. That's critically important to understand. Buyers are the ones who collectively determine value and therefore price. The market doesn't care how much money you need for your property. Doesn't care how much you want for your property. It doesn't care how much money you spent renovating your property. All of that is irrelevant. The market is what the market is, and it's driven by conditions that are far beyond your individual property. So an important thing to keep in mind is that your property, whether it be a house or a condo or a vacant lot, does not exist in a vacuum, right? So what do I mean by that? I mean that the value, the perceived value of your property that any potential buyer sort of lands upon when they are first exposed to your property is based on what they've seen. It's based on what else is available in the market. It's important to keep in mind that buyers do not have to purchase your property. It's part of my job as a listing agent to work with you to come up with a strategy to build a marketing campaign that is designed to maximize all of the positive attributes of your property and minimize the negative, and to do it in such a way that the property's best potential is put forward, and that in turn captures a buyer's imagination in terms of what they're looking for. And it's a very personal process. We want a buyer to be able to see their vision, to feel it. Part of that is through effective marketing, and there are lots of different components that go into an effective marketing campaign, as I mentioned. Photography is very important, social media presence. Nowadays, just about all buyers will likely see your house on the internet first before any other means. So it's very, very important and critical to have a robust internet online presence that's far-reaching. Staging is also very important. There is a reason why in new construction they have model homes that are professionally staged. They're not doing that for fun. They're doing it because it works. It's scientifically proven to work. But as I mentioned earlier, all of these things do not negate price. I've had lots of sellers who don't understand this concept. They prefer to price high. This is a very common kind of approach that I hear sellers wanting to take. I want to price it here so that when it sells, it can sell for here. Well, that's not going to work if the market value is here. You're not going to get offers. In order for a buyer to take the time to write an offer that's significantly less than the asking price and to risk the chance of offending the seller, it's got to be a house that they are totally in love with. It speaks to them, it sings to them. Then they might go through the trouble and take the chance of submitting a lowball offer. But honestly, this is not very common at all. Remember when I said earlier that buyers do not have to purchase your property? Most buyers, when they approach a house that's overpriced, will instead move on to the next house. They would rather move on down the line to the house that's around the block and see what that has to offer. If you're in this situation now, your house has been on the market for a bunch of days, you have had no offers, you've had a lot of showings, your house is overpriced. It's really that simple. Your house is overpriced, especially if you have people who are actually coming to the house and you're getting showings but just not any offers. That means that the online presence that these buyers are seeing checks off a few of the boxes, sufficiently enough that they want to come and see it. They look at the photos, they look at the description, they look at the price, and they think in their heads, this might work. I want to investigate further. Something happens though once they get there because nobody submits an offer. That means that there is a disconnect between the price that you're asking on this hand and the property appeal and quality on this hand. The two don't connect. You get no offer. All of the slickest marketing in the world, the best photos and the best staging is not likely going to lead to somebody dramatically overpaying for a house. Just won't happen. And then there's the appraisal that you have to worry about. The house has to appraise anyway. Appraisers tend not to be sort of influenced by those factors. They're looking at it from a more statistical, data-driven model. Price is the number one item. It is the driver of whether or not your efforts are going to be successful or not. So now that we've determined the importance of pricing, how do you arrive at the right price? That's where a real estate professional comes in. A real estate professional has the tools and the knowledge to be able to analyze the market, analyze your local neighborhood, and make suggestions as to the appropriate pricing model based on what your strategies are. Your strategies can be different based on what goal you have. Maybe you accepted a job out of state and you have to be out in 60 days or less. Maybe you have a more flexible situation, you have more time, you don't need to be selling your house within 30 days. My advice for those two sellers is going to be different depending on the different goals. My goal is to help you achieve your goals in the most efficient and effective way possible. If you'd like to talk about this some more, I am happy to have that conversation with you. Just give me a call. Call me anytime. I will stop by your property, I will stop by your home, I'll stop by your condo. I will give you solid, honest advice. If you like this information, if you find it useful, please consider subscribing. You can hit the button below and I would be forever grateful.